Half Life Alyx is one of the most amazing gaming experiences I've had in my life. But when you finish those thrilling final scenes, you're hit with a sudden realisation. It's over. And you have to go back to your normal life. You have to go back to the games you've put aside and try and find some other way of filling that hole. Well, don't worry. Valve had you covered. They built the mod workshop for Half Life Alyx, and some absolutely incredible levels have been put together by the community. Today we're going to be checking out some of my favourites and got some special mentions at the end that are definitely worth checking out, so stick with me. Let's go. First up, and quite possibly my favourite on the entire list, is a level called City17 Escape. Now this level starts you off with absolutely nothing. You've got no gun, you've not even got your gravity gloves, you've been trapped as a prisoner and you need to try and work your way through the level. The puzzles that you're faced with are absolutely incredible, and it blows my mind that someone's managed to create a level so well thought out. As you begin to explore, it becomes clear the path you need to go down, but without your usual weapons and tools to hand, it's really tough to think what you're supposed to do. As you locate each of your trusty tools, different possibilities open for you, and you can backtrack through the level, being able to look at things in a different way and reassess your situation. The genius level design and clever use of assets from the game create challenges genuinely up to the level you would have expected to see from the main game itself. When I first fired it up, I thought it was going to be a quick experience where I need to make my way out of this building and that would be that. How wrong was I? There's so much content packed into this you wouldn't believe. It is so worth finding the time to play it through to the end. After you first manage to locate your gun, the game starts throwing you into combat scenarios that are going to stick with it right throughout the playthrough. Now, although it is packed full of action, it's not the combat that I'm suggesting this is such a great level for. It really is the puzzles that are pulling me in. The enemies are all quite easily surpassable, and if you manage to make it through the main game, then you're not going to have much of an issue here. Just be prepared for a few surprises and always have your gun to hand. Lots of the puzzles are very reminiscent of the kind of thing you saw in the main game, which is why this feels much more like a sort of DLC than a mod that's been created by the community. If Valve spliced it into the game without telling anyone, people would have just said, yeah, that was a bloody good level. Throughout the level, ammo is scarce, and that pushes you to kill your enemies in new and interesting ways, something I had great fun doing throughout. It's very rewarding having yourself pushed out of your comfort zone after so long in it in the main game. Each of the different areas look completely different, but all really exciting and really well designed. You can expect physics challenges, maze-like experiences, scrambles through the darkness, and onslaughts of enemies from the game. I love how the enemies seem to have a mind of their own and are actually playing out a scene that you're kind of taking part in, and each set piece just feels enormous and really well thought out. I was genuinely being pulled into the story in a way that hasn't really happened for me in any other community content for another game. This is the third map that's been made by the creator known as Private Horselegs, and if Valve haven't offered them a job yet, then God knows what they're waiting for. This person is a genius. Next up, and something a little bit different, we've got Spaceport, a Halo-themed adventure. This mini-campaign cleverly mixes the assets from Alyx with assets taken directly from Halo. The eerie, atmospheric music that is continually blasted out constantly conjures images of Master Chief and his comrades. I found this campaign to be really challenging. You don't have much ammo, there's really difficult puzzles to solve, and there's no hand-holding whatsoever. Enter at your own risk, because you might well find yourself lost in space. For me, it was a game that I had to continually restart as I learnt how to play it. I learnt quickly which enemies I could just avoid and sort of dodge past. I learnt the tricks to get past some enemies quickly, and I learnt which ones needed to be taken down before they did damage. Most of the puzzle types that are used in the Half Life Alyx main game are reused in this campaign, all in challenging ways. None of it felt quick and easy to get past, and I was continually retracing my steps to work out clues. It was great to see little Easter eggs like the quad bike from Halo just sitting around in the map. They did a really good job of balancing the two game styles into one fun experience. But I was not chuffed to see that electric eel arsehole again. I thought I was done with that thing when I finished the game, and it was just as frustrating in this. I'm not looking forward to dealing with that again. Next up we have Overcharge, a level that has for a long time been the darling of the Alyx modding scene. This was the winner of the Discord contest for Alyx modding, and for good reason. This is another one that feels like it was lifted straight from the main game and would fit back in perfectly. It strikes a great balance between puzzle solving, exploration and tough combat. The enemies often feel like bullet sponges and they leave you pinned back by a constant foray of bullets. Amazingly, this whole campaign was built in just 2 weeks, using just the beta tools before the full workshop was available. It really is a testament to what can be done. You can expect to get about half an hour's playtime out of it if you roll through it in one session, but you can really expect to get a lot of value in that time. Your exploration skills will be tested as items get stashed all over the place. Remember to look in every nook and cranny because you're going to need all the resources you can get your hands on. And get ready to utilise every bit of the environment to help you on your path. None of the tracks are linear and you've always got to try and think outside the box to work out how to get to the next part of the stage. I was continually left scratching my head, not knowing what I should do to progress, but once I realised it I was like, that's so obvious, I should have thought of that, let's crack on. It's really beautifully made and every bit of the levels feel really well thought out. I've got no idea of the history of the creator, his name's Higgy, or at least I think that's how you pronounce it. But I really hope this won't be the last thing we see from him because this guy's got talent and we want to see more of it. You can constantly expect your heart rate to be changing as you switch from a casual little exploration to a big battle that is really going to test you. Every time I thought I was safe, they'd start playing that tension building music in the background and I think, here we go again, let's bring it. Next up is a level you might well have heard mentioned before. This is often touted as one of the go-to Alyx maps, and this is the GoldenEye Dam level. Now, is this a perfect recreation of GoldenEye that is going to have you reminiscing of all those brilliant memories you had playing the game as a child? No, it still really feels like Half Life Alyx, but the game takes inspiration from GoldenEye. You get to play with things like claymores straight out of GoldenEye. The idea of the level is to infiltrate the tower, progress through it and then gain access to the dam. That will then get you to part 2, because this mod is split into 2 parts because there's so much content and it really is worth playing through both of them. The further you progress through the game, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger in true Bond style. Expect surprises and expect real challenging combat. Luckily, you don't really need to worry about conserving your ammo because you're going to find it absolutely everywhere, and the same with resin that you use to upgrade your guns, you're going to find it constantly. In fact, before I've really taken down a few enemies, I've been able to max out my gun's upgrades, which is a good thing. In such a short experience, you really want to maximise what you got and make the most of it. At one point, you even stumble on a couple of enemies using the cubicles in a scene that is very reminiscent of the second level of GoldenEye Facility. But don't think that's all you're getting, because they actually went ahead and made that full level as well, which you can check out on the workshop. The game takes full advantage of the assets used in Half Life Alyx, and part 1 ends in a very climactic big fight that is really going to challenge you. But that's not where it stops, because if you progress to the second part of the game, things really kick up a gear. Now that second level is bloody challenging. There's enemies everywhere, and wherever you look you've got a new challenge to take on. The second part does look quite different, and you can tell that the creator has learnt quite a bit from their first experience. It still doesn't have those sort of GoldenEye visuals, but it's very reminiscent of the game and you can see what they're going for. The final full map on our list, Overrun, puts a real spin on the style of gameplay Alyx uses. This is almost a real classic dungeon crawler. You find yourself faced with a series of rooms, each with a little complex puzzle to work out to get through it, and with really strong combat faced in each section. Get ready to feel hunted and have your combat really tested. For me, this was one of those games I had to finish each stage, save, try and get through the next one, die, reload my save, and repeat until I'd worked out the secrets for each room. It took a long time to get through, despite only being about half an hour in length if you were to play it from start to finish, knowing what you were doing. The difficulty in combat ramps up with each room that you enter, but you're given the opportunity to heal yourself at the end of each room. You'll always find a heal point, and you'll always find enough ammo throughout to really replenish yourself and feel like you're good to go to find the next one. Be prepared to take every precaution to shield yourself, make sure you use every weapon to your disposal, and make sure you plan your route to stay out of the line of fire as much as possible so that you can take down enemies without reducing your health. It will not be easy and it will challenge you, This is the first map created by the modder Paradox, and I think he's done a fantastic job. This was ported from a mod using only bootleg tools. Before I leave you, I've got a few special mentions. First of all, you need to check out Northern Star Bowling. After a big adventure, every hero needs to relax, so get yourself out to the bowling lanes. This actually features some really cool physics that you can have some fun with. The bowling is really, really good. I don't suggest you spend much time trying to play with the pool table. It's crap, but it looks a bit of good and it kind of kits the room out. There's also a dartboard for you to sit and look at. If you spend your time on the bowling, you'll eventually get the hang of it. I kind of think I mastered it by the end. I don't know, take a look, let me know what you think. Cue the victory dance celebration here. The bar comes complete with G-Man as your own personal barman, but I have to say the service was so slow that I did think Weatherspoons had opened again. It is worth checking out. You're not going to spend much time in there, but it's a good bit of fun. Try it out. Next up is Alyx Plays Minecraft, a level that actually pulls assets straight in from Minecraft. It looks really cool. I think the blending of the two games together works really, really well. I love the room you're starting. The Gabe Newell mural on the back is very cool. Nice little addition to the game. But a little warning for you, it is absolutely mental out there. The enemies come after you the second you step out of the room. In multiple attempts of getting through it, I barely managed to make it a few steps, so this is not for the faint-hearted. Maybe I should have tried reducing the difficulty setting a bit, or pulling in some extra mods that would change the weapons I could use in the game. I'm sure there's ways to get through it, but man, it was hectic. The final mod, Tatooine, isn't really much of a level, but it does demonstrate what can be done if someone puts in the time to really deliver. This pulls in assets from Star Wars and it works so well. It's not a level you can play through, it's just a sort of play area where you can test things out, but it's so good. The cantina looks so authentic, the lightsaber is awesome. The gravity gloves work so well with the lightsaber, we need this combination to come together. I was having so much fun. Come on community, give us a real map of this, I want to play this through. Right, that's all I've got time for today folks, thank you very much for sticking with me. Now before you go, please do remember to press that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Got some awesome videos coming up and I would love for you to see them. I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.